Welcome back to the True Julo YouTube channel, family. Today, I am going to take you through my journey of going from being an actor to a writer to a producer to basically all three. As always, if you like what you hear on the channel, please give it a thumbs up with the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel and share this with your friends, and also please comment. So my storytelling journey definitely began for me as early as elementary school. I told my parents, I told anybody who would listen, that I was going to be an actor. I played the Sugar Plum Fairy in my bilingual elementary school's production of The Nutcracker, and I was hooked. I was also just generally a performer as a kid. I liked to act things out and play around. I was kind of a character as a child. I did community theater, where we traveled to other schools and performed for young people, and I really enjoyed getting to know acting. In high school, I went to this incredible high school where we got to create plays with our teachers, our drama teachers, with the students, and that was huge for us. I was in an alternative program called Pilot, and we would literally write an entire show together. This is us singing We Are the World. I was popular at the time, so was that haircut, so don't throw too much shade. But yeah, our high school just encouraged us, and we had lots of opportunities. I was also on the football team, and that was important to me because I wanted to have various life experiences, not just in theater, but other things too. Then I went to the University of Michigan for college, and I declared that I would be a theater major. But once I got into theater, I didn't love it very much. And part of that was because I wasn't hearing about Black folks in the plays that were offered. But I found the Black theater troupe, the Black Theater Workshop at the University of Michigan, and we started working together. After graduation, I joined the Peace Corps, and I lived in the Cape Verdean Islands in West Africa. And in Cape Verde, I was really lucky to be able to help my students become actors. They did plays together, and I would be the stage manager. It was a challenging experience, but another way that I learned to be an actor by observing lots of different kinds of human beings. And then I went to New York City, as everyone does. My first big show there was called Sense Us, and it was a group of us that wanted to explore our mixed identity and what that means. I also taught at Morris High School in the South Bronx. I was in the UFT Players, that was the Teachers Union Players, and I did a production of the Vagina Monologues. It was an important experience. Of course, every actor has to have headshots. I think things might be a little different now, but here are some of my earliest headshots. And it's not my favorite experience getting headshots. But after New York City, I moved to Hollywood. I made the big move, and I was scared, I will be honest, but I was lucky that I had friends here. I used to actually go for a hike probably 3 to 4 times a week to go see the Hollywood sign here. And this was the biggest role I've ever gotten. I got to play in the TV show Angel on television, and that was exciting. And I was nervous, but the crew was amazing, and I felt really comfortable. I know why your earnest friend is here, but why are you? What's in it for you? I also continued to teach English as a second language. I taught in East LA at East LA College. I taught in Glendale at Glendale Community College. My Spanish skills came in handy, and I got cast for 2 different long-form commercials for a company called Inglés Sin Barreras, and I got to speak Spanish or Spanglish in those. Discúlpenme, estaba hablando con alguien que les quiero presentar. How are you? ¿Cómo están?
Muy bien, ¿y vos?
Estoy bien. And then a huge break for me came when I got cast for a small role opposite Naomi Watts in Ellie Parker. This was a Sundance film, a very indie film about her journey as an actor, and I was so excited to do this scene with her, and she was really friendly and wonderful and obviously professional to work with. I'm glad I got to have a little attitude with her right here.
Virtual management.
Yes.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Miss, excuse me, miss, you cannot just walk back here.
Hey, my name is not Miss, okay? It's Ellie Parker, and you should know that by now. Say it. Say my name. Say it.
Ellie Parker.
Ellie Parker.
That's Chevy Chase too. Yeah, so that was a fun scene to do. Then I did stand-up, and then I also did a lot of films with AFI, the American Film Institute. They have an agreement with SAG where they have to cast SAG actors in their student films. And then I realized that I needed some discipline, really. And so I enrolled in Cal State University, Los Angeles, the cheapest MFA in the country, y'all. If you're interested, this is a great program. And this was one of my favorite projects that I did there. It was written and directed by Gillian Pagan, who also was the director of One Drop of Love, that initial premiere that I did at the school. I loved this because I got to talk to myself as a character. So this was a conversation between a woman and her alter ego. Hey, no. Hey, don't let me stop you. You just go back to writing to your many subscribers. Oh, yeah, you've got what, 4,000 some odd? I started to get cast on sets. This was from the TV show that I can't remember. And then I did some soaps, and that was really fun. And then my big break came in Argo. I have a small role, Don't Blink or You'll Miss It, in the film Argo, directed by Ben Affleck, who's a dear friend. And then my thesis at Cal State LA was One Drop of Love, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to make this show because I finally gave myself the gift of the roles that I've always wanted to play, the dialects that I wanted to work on, the age ranges, and really my own story. I got to tell my own story, and that meant everything. So here's a little bit from One Drop.
One night, early in my freshman year, I'm hanging out in a dorm room with some friends, and this guy Charles with steel blue eyes and light skin asked me, "So, sister, you joining the Black Student Union?" Oh, me? Oh, no. No, I'm not joining the Black Student Union because actually I'm Cherokee and Blackfeet Indian and also Jamaican and... You what? Oh, no, I mean, I am black. I'm not only black. So let me ask you something. If it came down to it and you had to choose, what would you choose?
And now I want to share my writing journey. I never really considered myself a writer early on. I really focused on acting, but I have to say that after a while I realized that sometimes as an actor you feel like a prop until you start to learn the writing process. So one of the first books that I read that my dear best friend Delicia recommended to me is The Hero with 1,000 Faces. And that changed my entire understanding of writing and made me feel like I could be a writer. I then read The Writer's Journey. I wrote a feature script, co-wrote it, which now is actually on Netflix. It's not the script that I wrote, but it's exciting. I also joined the Write Club, a group of women. We got together and wrote together and then performed every month or so. And that was really important. And I did stand up. And I mentioned this in the acting portion, but also it was so important for me as a writer to learn what works, how jokes work, how timing works, how pacing works. And I was really nervous. You can probably tell doing both of these, but here's a little bit of my 2 stand-up comedy routines that I did.
How you guys doing? So, I'm just going to clear this up for you in case you're wondering. I'm biracial. Mom is white, dad is black. You know, biracial people only get half the privileges that black people get. Yeah, like Black History Month, you know. February 15th, down goes that Malcolm X poster, and up goes Sean Cassidy. You know, and you're constantly confusing people, like, oh my God, I didn't know you were black. I just thought you were really tan. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. No, don't be sorry. I just would have used easier words with you. You know, I know, and everybody's always asking you, you know, like, ooh, what are you? What are you? I'm like, God, I'm biracial, Grandma. Call me mulatto. No, my parents are not asses. They're just, I don't know, they're very political, you know? They want to start a revolution. No, really, my name, Fanshin, means start a revolution in Chinese. But actually it was cool because I lived on a commune and like all the kids had names like that, you know? It was like a morning mutiny, hey, oh, kamikaze, jihad, you having some breakfast? And you go to school and you think all the other kids have weird names. You're like, Jack? Is that short for hijack?
Now I felt really ready to write my one-woman show, and a dear friend sent me this, and it was so important for me to, it was like a mantra. It was something that I looked at every day just as I was going to sit down to write, and really giving myself the confidence and the courage to tell the truth in my stories. So it says, tell your stories and your story will be revealed. Don't be afraid of appearing angry, small-minded, obtuse, mean, immoral, amoral, calculating, or anything else. Take no care for your dignity. Those were hard things for me to come by, and I offer them to you for what they may be worth. I did a lot of research for One Drop, and that was so important. I wanted to focus on how race was constructed in the United States. One of my favorite authors and most important books is Fatal Invention by Dr. Dorothy Roberts. And if you see my copy of this book, you'll know that it was well used. I took meticulous notes. I also learned from incredible writers, my muses, Anna Devere Smith, John Leguizamo, and Whoopi Goldberg, and Sarah Jones. And I really followed how they wrote their solo shows, and I wanted to incorporate the things that I learned from them into One Drop. And I am so grateful that I knew about these artists, and I gift them to you. If you don't know them, find their work. If you're interested in solo performance, these are artists to follow and learn from. Whoopi Goldberg's show is called The Spook Show, and I think I saw it when I was maybe 12 or something, and I remember thinking, my goodness, if I could do that someday. And so that was always a seed planted. This is one of the early drafts of One Drop of Love, breaking down the scenes and the moments, and that really helped me. Here's the moment that I decided what the title would be for the show. One Drop of Love, a daughter's search for her father's racial approval. And it just says everything I wanted to say. It has so much to do with looking for his love and approval, and also with these antiquated laws and notions of race that are based on really a lot on the one drop rule. So anyway, I'm very excited. I had to share it with you. And here's the script. Oh my goodness, I still feel so good and proud that I've written a full show. You've got to do it, y'all. You know, you need to know what it feels like to write a complete show.
Number of free white males, 17.
And I was so lucky that, and this is going to speak to the next section around producing, that I decided to film the show. And I had some great friends, of course, because I was in film school. So my friends helped me out to film this first version, the premiere of the show at Cal State LA. And I am so incredibly grateful that I still have this footage of the first times that I ever performed the show. And I'm still writing, although my focus is a lot more now on producing. I still find it really important to me that I continue to write. And now I'm a producer. And of course, the two things prior to this, writing and acting, have so much to do with my producing. My first producing gig was as a production assistant, and you might see some names there that you recognize. Julian Brees is now a big-time director and writer. Cheryl Bedford is the founder of the JTC list. Another very important thing I did to learn about producing was to produce events. So I co-produced a film and literary festival. I co-founded Mixed Root Stories. We still work with Critical Mixed Race Studies to bring performances. We brought Loving Day to Cambridge, Massachusetts. I also did a podcast early on. I'm an OG podcaster. I think I mentioned that in How to Become a Producer. All of these things, I never felt like I was an expert. I felt like I was learning. And that's what I'm doing with this YouTube channel as well. Continually learning and growing, and then putting it out there, because when you put it out there, you hold yourself accountable to actually do the work. But by far the most important place that I learned about producing was when I did my Master's of Fine Arts at Cal State LA. And so although my program specifically was in acting and performance, I wanted to get everything I could out of producing. So I audited a film class, and this is one of my favorite exercises ever. The teacher was teaching us about cameras and camera work and how to be a photographer, essentially a videographer. And so we did this wonderful camera exercise where we had to get these different shots. And my darling Mixie, my girl, at a much younger age, she's since passed away, but she was my model for this class for taking these different shots. And then once we learned how to do these shots, the final project was then to create a little short film using all of these different shots. So here's my final project, using all these different techniques and shots that I learned. And I have to say, I mean, some people will say this isn't producing, this is directing, or this is, but it is absolutely, because as I say in How to Become a Producer, the more you know how to do every aspect of filmmaking, the better producer you'll be. And so this was such an important exercise for me to do. I really, really enjoyed it. And I encourage you to do it too. We did a 48-hour film contest, and I also created a YouTube channel. So that's my Fanch & Cox YouTube channel. And again, I was pushing myself to just create content and not judge myself. I had learned that from writing One Drop, that you have to be in a position to not judge yourself. So that's why I created that first YouTube channel. And here's some content from that. Hello, it's me, Fanch, again, here with another Mixed Minute. Today's Mixed Minute is about Kip Fulbeck, about Gloria Anzaldúa, Bill of Rights for People of Mixed Heritage version, and I'll show you guys the next. Final Cut Pro. Yes. I don't care about composition or lighting or anything right now. I just got a co-producer.
Prince knew how to live. Prince understood his God-given gifts and talents, and he used those to better the world. Purple Rain came out, and I was like, what? This is little guy? It's like, oh.
Recently, I asked my friends when was the first time that they heard about the one drop rule, and their answers were really incredible. So we're sharing them here.
The census considers Latino an ethnicity and not a race.
Okay. Yeah, 1991,
so they asked two questions.
And it was right in the middle of the whole Rodney King incident. I had heard some people were angry because someone had been beaten up because he was black. I remember asking my...
As a 15-year-old, I could not believe that discovering your child is 1/16 black would be grounds for abandoning your child. Also, I'd never...
School was so important in helping me learn about producing. And so I got to go from not just being an actor and a writer of One Drop of Love, but being a solid producer. And what that meant is that I was able to take it across the country, film it more. I then developed workshops that I could add on to the show, and I started to make money from it. I was touring really sometimes 3 or 4 times a month. I got a publicist, and that was such an important thing to do. We made t-shirts and sold t-shirts, and then I produced the show. We filmed it in Hollywood with this incredible group of women, plus there are a couple guys, just a couple in this picture, this incredible group of women who all came together to help me film the show so that I could have something to apply to other festivals with, either apply the film itself to festivals, to film festivals, and also to submit for various theaters across the country so that I could get the show booked there. So here's a scene from when we filmed it. It's a lot different from the wide angle one we did initially at Cal State LA. Parents, them can only give the love them been taught how to give, and maybe a little more. Not true? Now, granddaughter, me have a favor to ask of you. The next time now you talk to your mommy and your daddy, ask them for me. What in God's name is offension? Me never could say that name. That's why me call you my granddaughter. Why them give you that name? The filmed version got into some festivals. Absolutely, my favorite is the Roxbury International Film Festival in Boston, and so I felt great going there. The San Francisco Black Film Festival was also wonderful. Yeah, I got to travel with it now, and even internationally for the Black International Film Festival. And now I work at Pearl Street Films. And this has been an incredible journey in helping others to tell their stories. I think the most important thing that I learned as a producer is the gift and value of helping someone else tell their story once you have told yours. One of my first executive producing gigs at Pearl Street was for the web series Grown. I get to travel to festivals, or at least before COVID, and speak on panels and listen to panels and learn from other people. I'm also the co-author of The Inclusion Rider, and that's been an incredible journey, especially with Kalpana Kodagal, who's been my co-writer on The Inclusion Rider from day one in 2016. Late 2016 when we first met, and we're still going strong with The Inclusion Rider. The Grammys just agreed to use The Inclusion Rider for their show. And there's this. Hey, welcome to Sister Brunch. I'm Fanchon Cox.
Da-da-da! And I'm Anya Adams.
Hey.
And if you're joining us for the first time on Sister Brunch, we talk about Black women plus working in the media, entertainment, and the arts, and how they broke into it, and also how they're staying in it, and what it takes to make it through.
Or maybe you just want to hear what things are like, but you will hear some inspiration from these amazing guests that we have with us.
And so our guest today is Miss Madeline.
And though I'm still working at Pearl Street and enjoying it there, I also have rebranded my production company that was For One Drop of Love to Trujillo Productions, and you hear all about Trujillo every time you come to this channel. Trujillo uplifts stories that speak truth in pursuit of justice and service of love. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it, and we'll see you next week.